Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and welcome back to Football Worldwide and to another edition of European Weekly Catch Up. I am your host, Jonathan, with my beautiful host, Bruno. As always, how are you this evening?
I am fantastic. I am excited. International break is over.
Thank God.
Domestic football is returning. Thank God. Guys, don't forget, before we get into it, don't forget to like and subscribe, as always. And we have a special show for you today. We're not doing a match review as we normally do this week. This week, we're going through each of the leagues and we're discussing what we personally think is contributing to teams and why they are in the position they're in. We're not going to cover every team, but we're going to cover the majority. So across all 5 of the leagues that we do cover, as well as that, we will have a one-star watch as per usual. But Jonathan, let's get into it.
And guys, just remember, for your convenience, we always have timestamps in our European Weekly Catch-Up episodes. So if you want to just skip straight to the league that you want, just hit the timestamp and go from there. So starting from the one and only, the English Premier League. Bruno.
Yes, the English Premier League has been one of interest as of late. Just there's been a lot of unpredictability. So if we have a look at the table, which is on the screen there, you have Chelsea in first on 26 points, Man City second on 23, West Ham also on 23, as well as Liverpool in fourth on 22nd. Then you've got Arsenal in fifth on 20 and Manchester United on 17. I will touch on why I've gone that far down in a moment. At the bottom of the table, you have Norwich in last place on equal points with Newcastle on 5, Burnley on 8, and Watford on 10, as well as Aston Villa. And you've got Leeds hovering above them on 11 points. So, just because we can, I have covered the top 6, that is, only for the simple fact is Arsenal, after 3 matches, were in last place and now are sitting pretty in 5th. Manchester United, after the transfer window they had, are now in 6th place. But let's go to top spot, Jonathan. You've got Chelsea on 26 points, and they are 3 points ahead with only the one loss, which was at the hands of second place Manchester City. They've also gone the last couple of games without Werner and Lukaku up front. But did you see this from Chelsea?
Did I see them to be performing as good as what they are? To an extent, especially after the back end of last season and how they finished with the being Champions League winners and so forth. I think another preseason under Tuchel, they recruited well. Their biggest weakness was that they needed a front man. Getting Lukaku and Werner starting to hit some form before he got injured. Yeah, look, I can probably say first, probably not. I didn't expect them to be first, but to be near in the top 2 to 3, yeah, I did see them going there. So yeah.
Yeah, look, I got to agree. They recruited extremely well, and the way they backed up at the end of last season, you just thought they were going to be doing something special. But Tuchel's got his men in a row. He's lost his front 3, front 2, and they end up putting 7 past Norwich, I believe. So you're looking at a team that knows how to score. But then you've also got the likes of Chilwell, who's just come out of the woodwork and has backed up amazing performance after amazing performance. Manchester City in second, I really can't argue with that. A similar position as to where they're better off this season than what they were last season at the same point. But you're also looking at a team where their transfer window consisted of one signing in Grealish, and they were hampered with Harry Kane not departing. But let's go to third place, West Ham. Now, no one expected them to be in third place, and going into the weekend, the last match day, they were actually in 5th, I believe. So they've jumped. They pulled the wool over Liverpool's eyes and leapfrogged them. Are they here to stay, or is this just after 12 match days, 11 match days, where they're going to be sitting?
Look, I'd love to see them stay where they are, but I just don't think they're going to have the endurance to keep up the performances they have been to the end of the season. We're only a third of the way into the season, and although it is a big chunk of it gone, it's a big comeback to go for the last 20 so matches. So I don't know. I hope they stay where they are, but I don't think so. I don't think they're going to be staying in the top 4 at least, to be honest.
Yeah, and then you've got the likes of Liverpool who have played the teams coming in the top 3, and they drew with Chelsea, they drew with City, and they drew with West Ham, or they lost to West Ham, one or the other. But is it starting to catch up with them, the lack of squad depth and the fact that they're competing on all aspects of the game?
Yeah, I think it is to an extent, especially when you take into consideration how they'd been performing. Like you said, they lost against West Ham, and they were found out a few times in defence with Van Dijk and all that, not playing his best matches in recent times, and also Alisson cost them that last game as well. So yeah, maybe a bit of squad depth there. They are missing a defensive midfielder and they've had some problems in midfield as well with injuries and so forth. So maybe they are starting to lack a bit of personnel there and some quality replacements to that top tier of what the rest of the team are. So yeah, I think you might be on the money there.
Yeah, look, Arsenal's had a nice surge up the table. They've come from last to where they are, but you can argue that they've had quite a easy run since their terrible start, that is. But we're going to find out a lot more about Arsenal in the coming weeks, where they face Liverpool this weekend, Newcastle, Manchester United, Everton, and then you've got West Ham in December. So they are going to have to show their true colours. Do you think they maintain 5th spot after those fixtures?
Yeah, I think they can. In all seriousness, I do think they can. There are the defense is finding some form, and the additions that Arteta made in the off season, that team's starting to gel a bit better. All they need is Aubameyang, Pepe, and Lacazette's finding a bit more goals. And look, in all seriousness, they've got a formidable front line, and I even Saka's been performing well as well. So they can definitely perform and go where they need to. Sorry, I just got my dog running around in the background here, so sorry guys. But yeah, no, look, they've been performing well, and from the dismal start that Arteta had and Arsenal had, you got to give him credit. A few 1-0 wins and all that. You string a couple of 1-0 wins together. That's all you need to get yourself up the table, which is what they've been doing.
Yeah, and I got to agree exactly with what you're saying there. Look, I think overall you're looking at a fantastic squad, but I don't see them playing in Champions League. The surprise to some and terrible nerves to a lot of Manchester United fans sitting in 6th spot. They went into the weekend in 4th spot and came out sitting in 6th after their 2-0 loss to Manchester City. They seem to have done everything right in the transfer market, but it's not correlating onto the pitch with the likes of Jadon Sancho and Rafael Varane, as well as Cristiano Ronaldo. They've reinforced every position on the pitch. And I'm going to just say it as bluntly as possible. If it wasn't for De Gea, they would be a lot lower on this table. Now, do you see them finding form, or is it a case of Ole needs to go before this team can really pick it up?
Ole needs to go straight out. You've already seen the frustration in regards to Ronaldo and Fernandez and some other players now talking in regards to just being frustrated with the progress of, or lack of progress, that Manchester United's making. So with him there, other than how they've been performing and getting some individual brilliance here and there, I don't see Manchester United making the top 4 with how they're performing, to be honest, and not well.
All right, well, just quickly, let's zoom straight to the bottom. Norwich on the bottom, recording their first win and then sacking their manager almost immediately, and Burnley down there. But I really want to bring your attention quickly to Newcastle. There was that takeover. Now they're sitting equal last on 5 points. Do you see them digging themselves out of this hole, or did this takeover bid happen a little too late? Otherwise, they're just going to have a pretty big winter transfer window.
I don't have an answer for you, to be honest, mate. I actually really don't know where they go from here. Maybe a little bit too late because they're in a big hole at where they are, and it's going to be very difficult for them to try to stay up in the Premier League, that's for sure. But the way they're going at the moment, you're almost going to think they're going to get relegated.
Yes, and let's move on to the next league, the Serie A.
Yeah, SerieA. So straight into it. Bruno, if you want to bring up the current ladder of what's happening and reading from the top, guys. So we got Napoli in first place on 32 points, Milan on 32, both tied there, just different on goal difference. Inter Milan in third on 25, Atalanta in fourth on 22. Then we have following Lazio on 21, Roma on 19, Fiorentina on 18. Eighth place Juventus are on 18, Bologna also on 18, and Verona on 16. Empoli is on 16, Torino on 14, Sassuolo in 13th spot in 14 points, Udinese starting well but starting to drop, 14 points, Venezia not too bad for how they started. They're on 12 points. Spezia on 11. Genoa on 9. Sampdoria on 9. Salernitana on 7. And Cagliari is anchored to the bottom of the table on 6 points.
Yes, so we will go straight into this because we will run through this quite quickly. Napoli and AC Milan, they share first place. The only two undefeated teams in Europe's top 5 leagues at the moment. Which team do you see leading the charge come the back end of the season?
I think Milan, to be honest. So in all saying that, I think they've been performing well. They seem to have a lot more depth compared to what they were last year, And I think because they were performing a lot better last year, they probably learnt from a few mistakes and can probably push on a bit further. Napoli with new manager, a couple of new signings, they're doing well, but I think it's going to come to hurt them, especially when African Cup of Nations is on in January. They got some big players leaving there, so yeah, it's going to hurt them, I think.
Last match day we saw second versus third, the Milan derby. This match day coming up, we will see first versus third, Napoli taking on Inter. Now this can play a big part in the context of the way the season goes. Do you see Inter going back to back, or do they need to start stringing along a couple of wings because Inzaghi just doesn't seem to have gotten his mojo yet?
Yeah, look, they do need to start stringing a few wins together, but I don't think it's panic stations yet for Inter. They've had their new manager come through they lost Lukaku and Hakimi in the offseason, also Christian Eriksen in that midfield. So those 3 new players that have come in need to find their positions still. They got a bit of fluidity at the moment, but they still need a bit of improvement to go. But I think come the end of the season, the older boys that have been there and that have won it all and all that, they're going to be pushing through, and their experience are going to get them close to winning 2 in a row.
Definitely. Look, you've got Atalanta in 4th on 22, Lazio 5th. But I think the biggest surprise here is Mourinho's Roma, sitting in 6th place on 19 points. What does he need to do to get this team running? Because I think everyone had a much higher expectation of what was to come.
I just think he needs a decent winter transfer window because, as we mentioned in last week's podcast, I think he literally only relies on 12 to 13 of his players and feels like the rest aren't up to scratch. So if he gets a couple more good recruitments come in January, I dare say they can be performing a lot better. But let's be honest, this team has been, with Fonseca, they were stuck in a certain way for a certain time. So it's going to take time for them to evolve and break that mold.
Yes, and we will move quickly to 8th place Juventus. There were high expectations leading into the season with Allegri returning and them trying to redeem the title and the crown that they lost to Inter last season. But losing Ronaldo 2 days out from the end of the transfer window seems to have left its mark. They're sitting on 18 points. Do you see them having any title challenge, bar a amazing, phenomenal collapse from the teams 7 and up?
Title challenge, no. Top 4, yes. I still think they'll be able to push through for a top 4, but I think it's a bit of a stretch to be saying there's a lot of points to make up there between who I think are the favourites now, Milan and Juventus. There's a big difference there. Look, anything can happen with Allegri at the wheel and with some of the members in that squad, but I think it's going to be a bridge too far for them to say to be title contenders now.
Definitely. And we move to the bottom half of the table. You've got Cagliari on 6, Salernitana on 7, and Genoa and Sampdoria sharing the spoils on 9 points. Now, I just want to throw to you, is this the relegation battle, or do you see some moves being made from some of these teams and other teams dropping down?
I see Cagliari coming back up only for the reason they've got too much quality in their squad. I don't know how they haven't being able to string it together. I know they've had a managerial change and so forth, but there's just too much quality in that team to go down. I still think Spezia might be going down, and the other one I still think is who started off well, who's starting to falter a bit, is Udinese. So to them, I'd say Salernitana, Udinese, and Spezia would be my 3.
No worries. Well, while that's being covered, let's move across to Spain, where we will cover the La Liga.
Yeah, and thanks for bringing this one up, Bruno. My apologies. I'm just having a technical issue there, and there we go. So the Spanish La Liga there, and bringing up the table, guys. I'm not going to go through the whole ladder. Let's just cover the big ones. So Real Sociedad on 28 points in first spot. Real Madrid second on 27. Sevilla 27 as well in third spot. Atletico Madrid on 23 points in fourth. Real Betis in fifth spot on 21 points. Now, next notable mentions we have to give is Barcelona down in ninth spot on 17 points. And then let's go all the way to the bottom 3. We've got Elche in 18th on 11 points. Then Levante and Getafe on 6 points apiece. So, looking at these ones, mate. Looking at the bottom first, let's go at the bottom. To be honest, Getafe, they're actually a surprise for me because they're a pretty big club in Spain, and in regards to they've been around for a while and they've got a lot of good pedigree in their squad. I'm surprised to see them anchored at the bottom of what they are, but they haven't been performing too well. They've been unlucky a little bit, but still not performing as good as what they could be.
Yeah, look, I got to agree with you on that one there, but I do feel that the bottom relegation battles predominantly between 5 teams. I put Cadiz, Granada, Elche, Levante, and Getafe. Getafe struggling. Levante, they're not up to par with the rest of the league. And Elche, Granada, and Cadiz, well, anything's possible with those teams. Now, we do have a bit of an obscured table when it comes to this because half the teams have played 13 games and the other half have played 12 due to international break hampering the return of some players, and La Liga's done the smart thing and they've pushed back their game. So if Barcelona win their game in hand, they actually go up to 7th spot. In saying that, you have a lot of competition. So we'll just go through the top. Real Sociedad, they've been the surprise packet of La Liga this season. Do you see them sticking up there? We know most probably they're not going to chuck a Lille and go the course of the season in first. But do you actually see them qualifying for the Champions League, or is Barcelona going to make a push throughout the season now that Xavi's returned?
No, I actually see them probably being in that, that top 4. And I know you're saying they're probably a bit of a surprise packet, but to me, when you actually look at their squad, I don't think they are. You got to remember, they've got the maestro there, David Silva. It's his second season in La Liga again now. So, back to back. So he's pulling the strings, and mate, their front two strikers are absolutely dominating and putting goals away. With a solid defense behind and with an Australian goalkeeper that's keeping clean sheets like no tomorrow, mate, credit where credit's due. Real Sociedad are here to play. But moving on to the next one, Real Madrid, they were a surprise packet at the beginning with how bad they were performing, but probably to be expected with the amount of losses that they had. Do you think Ancelotti's finally got this squad firing where they need to be, Bruno?
Yeah, look, I think Ancelotti's done a great deal with this squad. They are only getting better and better. Overall, look, they're top of the table when it comes to goal difference. And you make a big point about shot stopper Mari Ryan. Now, Real Sociedad's got a goal difference of only +9, and they're sitting in first, whereas Real Madrid and Sevilla are sitting in second on 27 points. They've both got 15 and 14 goals between them. So it really shows that defense is everything when it comes to this league, and they lost Varane and Sergio Ramos come the start of this season, so I really didn't expect them to do as well. But one of the surprises, in my opinion, is Atletico Madrid. I had them predicted to go back-to-back, and now they're sitting 5 points off first. Yes, there's a game in hand, but so do Real Madrid and Sevilla also have the game in hand. So pending they all win their game, they're still sitting 4 points off first. So ultimately, does Diego Simeone have what it takes? Now, Antoine Griezmann's starting to find some form, but is it a little too late when it comes to a league where any point dropped is a big opportunity loss?
Normally, I'd say yes, but I think in La Liga, you've got a lot of room to play. Now, you look, Atletico Madrid and Real Madrid, they're on the same points as it stands. Is that right? Am I seeing that right?
27 and
23 and 23. So there's a 4 points difference there. But, you got to remember, and I mentioned this a couple of weeks ago, Real Madrid have not been performing as good as what they need to be. And I feel this year you've actually got a little bit of room to play compared to other seasons. You probably should say that at the beginning of the season, I think I picked Atletico to go back-to-back as well, with a lot of changes happening at Real Madrid. Look, we're only a third of the way in. A lot can happen, but you need to see some of these teams performing a bit better to really put a title challenge.
Yeah, and look, I'm going to just quickly throw it to probably one that's caught everyone off guard. Barcelona, they're sitting in 9th spot, but they've looked all sorts. They're dropping points to teams they shouldn't be dropping points. They're dropping 3-point leads, 3-goal leads to walk away with only 1 point. Xavi's now returned. Dani Alves is now returned. Is this the turning point? Are they about to come around the corner and it's like, we're coming for you, Champions League, we're coming for you, title?
Look, there's obviously, like any team that sacks a manager and gets someone new, there's always going to be a bounce back. We always know that. How long that lasts, I don't think is going to be too long, because there are a lot of problems in this Barcelona squad that can't be fixed with just a change of a manager and bringing in experience.
Do they make Champions League?
Yes.
Yes, so you said Real Sociedad's making Champions League. Real Madrid, Atletico, and Sevilla are up there.
Sevilla's
Which one of them drops out?
Sevilla, in my mind, would drop because they've got a busy schedule in regards to Champions League at the moment, and then I don't think they've actually their group. I'm pretty sure they're performing quite well from memory. So I think they're just going to they don't have a big enough squad.
They're
to be
in
able
last
to,
place in their group.
But
it's like 6 points between
tight.
First and last. It's very tight.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I still think it's going to be the top 4 plus the top 3, the big 3 plus Real Sociedad this year, to be honest.
All right, so we will move on to Germany.
Yep, the German Bundesliga.
So the German Bundesliga has gone very much as predicted this season. You have Bayern Munich in first place on 28 points, Dortmund in second on 24, Freiburg 22, Wolfsburg on 19, and RB Leipzig on 18. Greuther Fürth is on 1 point in last place, Arminia Bielefeld on 8 points in second last, and Augsburg is third last on 9 points. Look, I don't think we'll be covering too much of this league at the moment because it just seems the stories written by Munich are going to run away. They're putting, goals past every team, and that's reflected in their plus 29 goal difference. With Dortmund missing Haaland at the moment, they haven't been getting the results they deserve. I just think the surprise package here is Freiburg.
Yeah, I was about to say the exact same thing. I wanted to give a special mention to them because they've been performing well, and credit to them. I think also special mention have to go to RB Leipzig with Nkunku as well, and Leverkusen coming back. Wolfsburg started strong, but faltered a little bit, sacked their manager. Probably plugging in a few goals and all that too. And then the bottom three, I don't think it's too much of a surprise there, to be honest.
Yeah, look, I think Bayern Munich have done an astronomical job with their squad and their reinforcements. Dortmund, I feel they're going to make Champions League. I do see Freiburg, unfortunately, dropping out with Wolfsburg, RB Leipzig, and Mainz. RB Leipzig and Leverkusen, fighting for that last Champions League position. Again, like you, not much movement around the bottom. Gutherfurth only registered the 1 point across 11 games. And Arminia Bielefeld, I just don't think they've got it in them to maintain the pedigree of the Bundesliga. But I think that's all we got to say there.
Yeah, pretty much. And then going into the final league is the French Ligue 1.
Yes, so we've got the French Ligue 1, and it looks a little bit like this. In first place, you have PSG on 34 points. In second place, you have Lens on 24 points. And then you've got Nice on 23, as well as Marseille. Rennes, Lyon, and Montpellier are sharing the next position on 19 points, with a special mention to last year's champs, Lille, all the way in 12th on 16 points. Then you've got Metz on 8, Saint-Etienne on 9, Bordeaux, Brest, and Reims all sharing the spoils on 12 points at the bottom of the table. Look, I think this is the PSG show this year. There was a little hiccup last season, and they already got a 10-point lead, and they're only 13 games deep.
Yeah, it's pretty much last year was a hiccup, as you can say, and pretty much the show's back on the road as it's the PSG French League, to be honest, for the French League 1. I think a special mention has to go to the bottom of the table, Bordeaux especially. Like you don't normally expect to see them as far down as what they do. Other mention you have to say would be also Lyon. They're an exciting team to watch, and I always enjoyed watching them. Good players like Lacazette before he went to Arsenal. Also, Memphis and Payet as well. So look. I just think it's that they've had some good signings and all that. They brought in the German defender who was again, I can't remember his name, played for Bayern Munich. But Botiag, he came in just before the end of transfer window. So yeah, they're another one I think can be pushing up again.
My question to you: do Clermont Foot remain in the league this season?
I hope so. I really hope so. What are they on? 13 points. Jeez, they're only 1 point out of the drop zone. I don't know.
13 points, 15th place, but they have played the likes of Lyon, Monaco, and PSG, to say the least. So it will be interesting moving into the back end of the season. Look, guys, I think we've done a speedy but comprehensive coverage of the leagues. But let's move into our ones to watch.
Guys, that's right. Ones to watch. European leagues are back this weekend. Domestic football. And I had to pick my one to watch as Barcelona versus Espanyol. 2 reasons. I want to see how Xavi gets his team firing. And Espanyol are always a fun team to watch, to be honest. Dani Alves was arriving back at the beginning of this week, so I'm not sure if he's going to be cleared to play this weekend or if he's going to make the bench. He's been fit. He was He was playing in Brazil, but they both decided to terminate their contract. So yes, Barcelona Espanyol. Bruno,
And
what's
he
yours?
signed only for €1, which is always a positive, knowing he's coming back to play for the club, not for the money. My one to watch, we move to the Premier League. It's 4th versus 5th. Liverpool take on Arsenal. These two have a rich history between them, and they're going to battle it out, and it means so much for both teams. If Arsenal can get the points over Liverpool or take a point away, they're going to be doing really well, especially when it comes to momentum and morale within the club. Arteta, we were criticizing him, but he seems to pull it out always. So, and the pressure's on Liverpool after losing 3-2 to West Brom after leading 2-0. The pressure's on them. So it'll be really interesting. And I think it will determine where Liverpool season is and if they are genuine title contenders.
Yeah, definitely. And in saying that, look, it's just good to have domestic football back this weekend. It was a nice little break the past week and a half, but I'm very happy to be having.
I've missed it. I have missed it. But look, guys, don't forget to tune in next week. We will be returning to schedulings as per usual. You will have European Weekly Catch Up with Jonathan and myself. Everything EPL hosted by Mo. SerieA Roundtable with Anthony and his table panel, however you want to put it. And do we also have, I'm just double checking because I don't want to be misquoted, we also have Champions League. So we will have the Champions League show
back next week.
So that will be an interesting one to watch there. Definitely one we really need to cover. Guys, don't forget to like and subscribe. It's been an honor. It's been a pleasure. It's good to talk about domestic football again, isn't it, Jono?
Love it. Always enjoyed talking football with you, Bruno, and always enjoy seeing your face. We got to do it back again together again, though.
And when this does go to air, it will be Jonathan's birthday. So happy birthday to everyone from Football Worldwide here. Drop a love heart in the comments to wish him a happy birthday. But
thank you, buddy.
It's been a pleasure. Let's see how this weekend takes it, and we'll see how we'll be talking about these teams next week.
Thanks, guys. Love yous. Ciao.